Hi, kids. Good morning and welcome to the Phil Show, the award-winning news and talk of East Tennessee. More tickets to Hal and Phil Off the Record 9.0 with Bob. We'll have that on the way. I'm sure Bob will. And it's great. I don't think anybody, Landon, that I know, no one I know or probably you know, would plan any kind of event on Tuesday, May 7th, because that's going to be the night for the Bijou. Am I right?
You are so right, Phil.
No one I know would plan anything as the same night as Off the Record. I'm pretty sure. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the microphone Jim Brogan. Jim Brogan of Brogan Financial. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Phil. I appreciate the comments.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we had to see. Here's the thing, Phil. We had to schedule that tax planning class with Pellissippi State. We had to schedule that like back in September, October.
Right, yeah.
So and I love to participate in the Phil and Hal Off the Record.
Yeah, we were going to have you.
So I just absolutely hate that it's the same night.
Well, but here's the thing too. Neil Denton, who came last year and helped out. Neil's son graduates from Clemson on Tuesday, May 7th, and they wouldn't even move that. I couldn't believe it. He called me and said, "Don't you know?"
Oh goodness, that's funny.
They wouldn't even move that. Jim Brogan, Brogan Financial, and you got a great show coming up this weekend. And kind of stealing a page from Neil Denton, you got Abby Stanley from Stanley's Greenhouse on. I know you do a lot of cooking and smoking. Are you a gardener as well, Jim?
Phil, I'm not a gardener. I do a lot of smoking and cooking, but this lady, she literally is going to talk about how to feed a whole family with your own garden. It's really cool.
Wow. And we're starting to get...
That's not I don't have a green thumb, though, no.
Yeah.
I have to listen to people like Neil Denton and Abby Stanley.
There you go. We're getting radishes and onions. Tuesday, Department of Labor issued that fiduciary rule that aims to raise investment advice standards. Everybody, okay, you have to be a fiduciary. What's that mean if you are already retired? What's that mean for your retirement savings?
Yeah, that's a big deal, Phil, because, historically in the financial industry, advisors, stockbrokers, that kind of thing, up until about 20 years ago, everything was transaction-based, right? You sell a stock, you get a commission. You sell this, you get a commission. And everything's been moving more to a fee-based model to try to remove conflicts of interest. And the whole idea is the fiduciary is an important word, because that if somebody's regulated as a fiduciary, they're required to act solely in the best interest of the client. And believe it or not, a lot of advisors are not held to that fiduciary standard. So the government has been...
But yeah.
It doesn't. And the government has been trying to mandate more and more to say, hey, if you're an advisor, you have to be a fiduciary, but they've not been successful across the board. So the Department of Labor has stepped in and kind of made some rules for anybody that gives advice on retirement accounts. Ultimately, so in other words, if anybody gives advice on a retirement account, even if they're not securities licensed, they are going to be regulated where they have to act in the client's best interest as a fiduciary. So I think ultimately that's good for the client. That's good for consumers, because people are required to act in their best interest. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody will act in everybody's best interest. It just means that's the way they're being regulated, that they're supposed to.
So how do you know? So how you know if you're getting the right advice? How do you know?
That's a great question, because as an example, Bernie Madoff was a fiduciary, right? He just broke the rules and broke the laws and stole from people, but he was regulated as a fiduciary. So, how do you know? I think the big thing is when you meet with someone, are they talking to you about process and how to meet your goals, or are they focusing on a mutual fund or an annuity or a stock, or, they selling you something? To me, a good advisor should be like a consultant and then drive traffic for you. So that they should be asking a lot of questions. And if you're truly fee-based and you're a fiduciary, then you're going to listen to people, and the recommendations for that consumer is based on their own needs, not what you might have done 2 weeks ago for somebody else, or maybe what your company's telling you should do.
I got you. You talk to one person and says, well, the economy's strong. You talk to another and they go, oh, boy, not from where I'm at. Later today, you've got the Consumer Price Index for March and the GDP estimates, all that. So what's all that mumbo-jumbo mean for average Joe Blow out there?
It's very important, Phil, because inflation has proven to be a little bit sticky. It's staying up around 3.5%. The Fed wants to get it to 2%. They're having a hard time getting it down, and yet the economy, like you said, there's mixed signals there. The economy's doing pretty well. The economy hadn't pulled back much. And so the Federal Reserve is very, very likely to leave interest rates higher for longer.
Yeah.
So I think that's what that means for consumers is, it's maybe going to be a little bit longer before interest rates start to come down. Now, is that 3 months? Is it 9 months? Is it a year? I don't know. But that's what it means for consumers is, they're going to be very hesitant to lower rates with the economy going as strong as it is and inflation hanging around.
Well, Robin did a story a few minutes ago, Jim Brogan, about folks 55 plus are probably saying, no, I don't think I can ever retire. Coming up on Tuesday, May 7th, although it's the same night as Off the Record, you're doing, that evening you were doing a class at Pellissippi State on Hardin Valley. What will you cover in this? This is a tax planning thing, I assume. What in retirement? What will you cover there, and what would you say to those folks?
It's exactly about tax planning. So it's a one-night. Most of my classes over the years are 2-night classes where I do 2-hour sessions. This class is one night for 2 hours specifically on tax planning, and I think it's so important, Halloran. Excuse me, Phil. I did that. Exactly. Tax rates are going up at the end of next year. And the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is expiring. And in addition to that, in addition to tax rates going up, people's tax deduction is going down. So the standard deduction is being cut in half.
That's next year, though.
That's 2026, at the end of 2025.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we've got this year, so we've got... Go ahead, Phil. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, let's get a break, and I want to talk more about that. Just so hang on to what you got there, and we'll come right back and do a little bit more, and make sure that your money, more of your money stays with you with Jim Brogan. Hang on. We are back at it on the Phil Show. I know we all want to keep. I mean, you work hard. You work hard for your money, and you work forever. And now Jim Brogan tells me that taxes are going up. Oh gosh! And you're doing this retirement battle. Matter of fact, we got a question for Jim Brogan on our text line this morning. Landon, would you, if you will?
Yeah, this is from Denise in Harrogate. I'm in a tax bracket where I normally don't have to file taxes, but I'm receiving an inheritance of a little more than $8,000. Will I have to file? That's from Denise.
Well, more than likely, Denise, you will not have to file. The issue there is the $8,000. What was it in? If it was in the bank, like a bank account, or if it was an investment account or something like that, there's no tax implication for you to get that inheritance. If it's coming from an IRA or a 401k or other kind of retirement account, that $8,000 would be taxable as ordinary income and would be reportable. So that's the key, is what type of a holding is it currently, and therefore would it trigger a tax when it comes to you. But it would not if it's just bank money or money, in an investment.
Yeah, and that's good news. I think. We get taxed enough, and you said taxes are going up. So how are we on that? Where are we at on that with our
Yeah,
taxes
to give you
going
an
up?
idea. Yeah, to give you an idea on that, Phil, the brackets are going up. Like the 12% bracket goes to 15, the 22 goes to 25. So the brackets are going up. But what people are kind of missing, I think, is the deduction. The standard deduction is going back down. And so for an average a typical dual income family in East Tennessee that is doing a standard deduction, and they're not itemizing, their tax bill, just from the deduction going down, their tax bill is going to go up $3,000. That's just average.
Wow.
Right up front. And that doesn't even count the increase in the tax brackets. So we have a year here and next year to try to take advantage of tax planning opportunities while tax rates are low. And then my question would be, with $34 trillion of debt, and in that news report that Robin read at the 9 o'clock hour, that Social Security,
Right.
And Medicare, issues in the next 10 years, what's going to happen to the future of tax rates? Are they going to go up more?
Yeah.
I'm not so
Well-
worried about what happens with tax rates with the presidential election. I'm worried about where we're going to be in 8 years.
Yeah. And you can, here again, you can talk about it and learn more about how you can help to be prepared for this. As Jim Brogan has a one-night class. Now, this is just a one-night class at Pellissippi State, Hardin Valley at 6:30. How do folks sign up for that? Is PellissippiTaxPlanning.com? Is that how you do it, or JimBroganFinancial.com?
Actually, that's the best way, because it's through Pellissippi State. So if you go to PellissippiTaxPlanning.com, you can download a syllabus and you can click to register. If somebody wants to call Pellissippi State directly, you can also do that. Their number is 539-7169. Of course, that's area code 865-539-70. Anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought there on the phone number, but PellissippiTaxPlanning.com is the best way to find out more about the class.
All right, it's at 6:30. Now less than 2 weeks away, Tuesday, May 7th. Of course, it's
and Phil, people
off the record. Yeah.
People have more control of their income taxes in the early years of their retirement, as a rule, than at any other time in their lives. So, the time leading up to retirement with tax rates low today, and then once you get into retirement, I think tax planning in today's challenging investment world is going to become more and more important. And what we just did a few weeks ago with Tax Day, Phil,
Right.
that's not tax planning. That's tax preparation. We're doing things that already happened in the past.
That's already, that ship sailed.
Tax planning is looking forward and being intentional. Right. Like, where do we draw income from? How do we invest our money? Are our investment gains taxed, and how are they taxed? That stuff's very, very, very important, because we all know it's not what we make, it's how much we get to keep.
I'm going to throw you a little curve here. Hal said that today he's going to ask a question or talk about, are 30-year-olds better off today or worse than we were at age 30? I'm sure he means people 55 plus, whatever. Because it seems to me like a lot of these young people, you've got these incredible interest rates. You've got housing prices through the roof and rent prices through the roof. Do you think, have they got a right to be angry or a little frustrated?
I will say that 30-year-old today certainly have some challenges, Phil, that you and I did not have when we were 30. However, we had challenges when we were 30 that young people today don't have. And think of the way technology has grown over the time since you and I were 30. So, everybody's always going to face opportunities and new challenges. In my opinion, a 30-year-old today, if they have a good work ethic and they have some ingenuity, I think the opportunity today to build the American life, however they want to define that, to me, the American life is how you want to define it, right? Okay. I think the opportunity is just as good today as it's ever been.
All right. More Living with Jim Brogan this weekend. You are going to get a lesson on having a green thumb from Abby Stanley's greenhouse, and hopefully figure out that we can grow just about everything we need from our own garden. That sounds awesome. And you know what, Jim? I got a feeling you're going to learn some stuff from Abby.
I am. I think, Phil, when I get off the air Saturday, my wife's probably going to tell me I've got to start buying some stuff and planting a garden.
Well, let me go ahead and tell you, I've got this red clay out here, and I can do all kinds of things and not be near as sore as I was from digging them holes. I'm investing in dynamite if I can get it. Jim Brogan this weekend, More Living. We're coming back with more 9 o'clock fun hour stuff. Stay with us.